Hello and welcome to another episode of Thoughts Shared Souls Bared. I'm Katie.
And I'm Jill.
And hopefully our audio sounds better today.
Yeah.
We were testing some things out because the way I edit this podcast, it's difficult to get the audio right. But that's literally what a podcast is, audio. Before we get into this, please, if you have not already, what is it? It's comment. No.
You can rate,
review, subscribe. I'm like late comment share.
We're professionals. We know exactly what we're doing.
Please. And also follow us on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter, where we ask questions and we actually have some responses to the questions we put out for today's episode. And we're going to be talking about those. And Jill, what is today's episode all about?
Today's episode is all about our favorite directors, theater directors, because there's a difference.
There's a very big difference between a theater director and a television and film director. But before we get into that, is there any Broadway news that we should talk about?
There is so much Broadway news.
Love. Okay, hit me with it.
Okay, so on December 10th, there will be a night of Broadway hosted by Tina Fey on NBC, starring, it's got performances by Chicago, Tina the Musical, Mean Girls, Jagged Little Pill, I believe, and a whole bunch more, and a whole bunch of Broadway performers. And the Broadway performances are all like pre-recorded, like really awesome performances that are done in the streets of New York City, which I think is going to be so much fun. And
they're doing it in the streets?
They're like pre-recording performances in the streets of the city.
I love that.
I'm obsessed. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. We still do not have a date for the Tony Awards, and CBS is just like not going to give it to us. The Drama League says, some Tuesday, Thursday, April, August, autumn, winter, next year, some year.
Maybe.
What is that? Time Heals Everything from Follies?
Something like that. Yeah, that sounds right. Oh, God.
Oh, my goodness. So that's the one big thing that everyone has to look forward to.
I'm so excited for it. I can't wait.
And then this comes out the week of Thanksgiving. So the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, which we talked about last week. Very exciting. We're still getting a little bit of theater content, which is excellent. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. But I think that's like the main thing in regards to Broadway news.
So, yeah.
So, let's just...
Oh, wait. The Hadestown Christmas album came out.
Oh, the Fates... what's it called? The Fates
Decide? Something. Let me look.
The Fates Allow? The Fates... It's definitely a play on words.
If the Fates Allow.
If the Fates Allow. Which is cute. Love that play.
Love it.
So... those are the two things we have to look forward to. I'm excited. I'm so excited about the Night of Broadway. Tina Fey.
I'm very, very excited.
I'm very intrigued that Tina Fey is hosting it. But it makes sense.
Yeah, that was my one thing, because I was like, I said this very bitterly. I'm not the biggest Tina Fey person. I appreciate the things that she does, but I'm not the biggest Tina Fey fan. The only like Tina Fey project I genuinely enjoy is Kimmy Schmidt. And so like when I saw the news, I was like, could they get absolutely no one else? Like I was like, I don't know.
Well,
but that's me. I'm not a big Tina Fey person.
It makes sense because it's NBC, and then that's where 30 Rock was. That's where SNL was. It's where
right, which
it makes sense.
Right, but there's also so many other people that could have done it. I think that there are just so many options right now with no one else doing anything.
I
I
think
don't know.
Tina Fey is a big enough name that she'll bring something in, and then people know Mean Girls, and that's who's performing, and that's their connection. So it makes sense. It's kind of like how, I don't know, people thought that she was going to host the Tonys one of those years. Was it the 27? No, it couldn't have. 2017 is when no, it wasn't. Mean Girls was in DC at the end of 2017, so it wasn't that year. Anyway, the 2017 Tonys are a mess.
They were 2018, 2019 season, I thought. Oh, yeah.
No, they were the 2017, 2018, because they opened March or April of 2018.
That's right. Okay, yeah.
Because they were in DC in November of 2017.
That's right.
That's when I saw it. Anyway.
That's right.
Let's get into it. Jill, who are your favorite Broadway directors or theater directors in general?
My all-time favorite is Alex Timbers. Bloody Bloody Andrew Jackson, Beetlejuice, Moulin Rouge, many others. His credits are amazing. I don't know, like, I've been trying to think, because I was like, that's the one that like stands out for me, I guess.
Is there something about his work that you just love? Like, is there a certain character or quality to his work that you just find?
It's like he loves a spectacle, and that's like, but not a spectacle in the way that's like tacky. Like, it's like every time he does like a show that's like a big spectacle, it always just looks amazing. Like, everything about it's just like beautiful. And it's like, I don't know, like, my first introduction to him was simultaneously Beetlejuice and Moulin Rouge, obviously. That, I feel like that's when like a lot of people started to like really, like, that's when he started to become like a household theater director like name. But he, like, I don't know, there's just something about, and the way that, like, I'll watch like interviews and stuff of his, and it's just like the way that he talks about things is just like, he's such a genius. Like, everything he does is so genius to me, and the way that he works with people is just really, really interesting to me. I don't know, he's just very much an artist, and I like that.
That's great. Well, yeah, I mean, I agree. I saw Moulin Rouge and Beetlejuice a couple days apart, and there is definitely a kind of connection you can tell within them. It's definitely over the top, it's fun, but it's controlled. It's not too outlandish that it seems like you're watching a cartoon. It somehow is able to feel over the top, but grounded. Yeah. Which I think is a great quality.
Oh, yeah.
My top one, I listed three. I have three favorite directors. And I think you'll probably agree with me on this last one. But the first one is Michael Arden. Michael Arden, I have seen so much of his work. I absolutely adore what Michael Arden has brought as a director to theater. The first show I ever saw of his was Deaf West's Spring Awakening, when it was in Beverly Hills. I saw it, so it was 5.5 years ago. I think it was June of 2015 I saw it. And it was absolutely mind-blowing. I saw it with my friend Danielle, and we were sitting there, and it was my first time ever like seeing a performance of Spring Awakening. Obviously I knew the show, but the way it was done and the way he so seamlessly worked in and was able to connect the deaf community with Germany in the 1800s, I think it's like, how has this never been done before? It was so, I want to say flawless the way it was done. It was so beautiful. I think just watching that blew me away. And then I saw, oh my goodness, I'm trying to like think what I saw there. Because I think then the next thing I saw that he directed was Stephen Sondheim's Merrily We Roll Along, also at the Wallace in Beverly Hills. And it was, I was just like sobbing from the end. or from opening doors onwards. I couldn't control myself. And the way he was able to make this show that was at that point 35 years old feel so current and feel so new, even though it clearly takes place in certain time eras, I think was absolutely phenomenal. Not to mention, like, the cast was insane. Like, it was Wayne Brady and Donna Vivino and Aaron Lazar and Saquon Singla. It was absolutely a phenomenal cast. But I think what's so great is that he has these small theaters that he can really work with. Because I think the Wallace is, I don't know how many seats. It's a rather small theater. And it was so amazing. And then so he finally was able, well, actually, because Spring Awakening transferred to Broadway, but then he was able to direct Once on This Island.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first, like, actually immersive show of his that I saw. And he really prides himself on, like, doing immersive theater. Mm-hmm. And I'm all about that. And so he did Once on This Island, and the way you just felt a part of the show was beautiful. He enlisted an incredible creative team from costumes and set, and then his actors, and then costume, set, lighting, everything worked wonderfully. I think what I find so wonderful about the Once on This Island revival is that he really understood the story from these are people, these are storytellers. These aren't just characters. These are people who are telling the story. So therefore, it gives you more freedom to play. So it gives you the opportunity to say, yes, this tangled group of wires is Erzuli's crown. And this I don't know, like, tarp or whatever is Asaka's skirt. And it was also playing with gender by having Merle Dandridge play, oh my God, what is the character's name? I can't remember. Papa Faye. By having Merle Dandridge play Papa Faye and having Alex Newell, who identifies as a cis man, play Asaka, having those two mix with gender and having it was mind blowing. I think that, and then the show won Best Revival, so, like, clearly it reached other people too.
Yeah.
And then I think the next thing I saw of his was, I'm lucky he's done a lot of things in LA so that I've been able to see them. Because then he did, I think it was, oh God, he directed Annie at the Hollywood Bowl. And again, once more, he was able to enlist, which, okay, for anybody who doesn't know, Hollywood Bowl shows are put together in 10 days. They are put together so quickly because they only do 3 performances over a weekend. And it's always like the last weekend in July. It's great. So sometimes they can feel a little, like, funny, but the fact that he was able to get together not only an insanely talented group of children, and I've said it before, watching children perform makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But the way he was able to, like, enlist this group of children, I think, was so good. And then also he had, like, Lea Salonga and oh my God, David Allen Greer and all of these people. It was so, and Anna Gasteyer was Miss Hannigan. Like, it was an insane group of people. And Annie, I mean, Annie is Annie, you know?
Yeah, like, it's like, there's not much
to it, but the way he was able to do it, I think, was phenomenal. Ali Stroker was Star to Be, which I like that he was bringing in people from his past work. I love that.
Yeah.
And then I think the last thing I saw of his was A Christmas Carol with Jefferson Mays, which they're doing a live, or it's not a live stream, but they're recording it and they're going to be selling
They're
tickets in order to
basically filming it as like a film.
Yes, and it's going to be, the purchase of the tickets is going to benefit a bunch of nonprofit theaters across the country, including the one that I know of in Southern California. It's going to be helping promote or helping raise money for South Coast Repertory, which is a phenomenal organization. But the way,
and it's only like $20. Like tickets.
Yeah, you get them through like Today Tix. Like it's
like $20.
It's definitely affordable, but it's a one-man show, and the way I felt every single emotion during that show, and like I like Christmas, and I am well aware of like A Christmas Carol and all the iterations of it, but the way Jefferson Mays plays every single character, it's exactly how you'd imagine, like, I don't know, a grandfather or somebody reading you the story and then acting out each and every bit. But there were parts when he is a phenomenal actor.
Every time I think about him, I think of his character in SVU, which I think is one of the like most incredibly written characters in that entire show. And because like he was a ME turned like he was a psychopathic ME or sociopathic, I can't remember, who like went on like this freaking killing spree. Like he was so good. Like he was amazing in SVU. And I think about that a lot. Like I go back and rewatch those episodes so often because they're so good.
Jefferson Mays absolutely is one of the, I wouldn't necessarily call him like a hidden gem, but he's like consistent.
He's not a household name, and I think that he deserves to be. Like I think
exactly.
Yeah.
His talent level absolutely deserves to be.
Amazing.
But the way Michael Arden directed A Christmas Carol, there are parts where it gets so dark and so quiet, and there are parts where it's so loud. It was so, but it in the right ways. It was amazing. And I can't say enough great things about Michael Arden. He was one of the first people to, during this pandemic, say, how do I continue to make theater? Yeah. And he created
Forest of Arden.
Exactly. He created Forest of Arden and had this drive-through theatrical experience back in like June. Where he enlisted a company of people, and they all isolated to separately. Then they all went to some place, I don't know where, but it was somewhere in upstate New York. They all isolated separately.
I want to say it was like in the Catskills, but I'm not 1,000% sure where.
Thinking. That's what I was thinking, but I wasn't sure.
Because I follow Jody McFadden and oh my god.
Like Chris Rodriguez, but like in that company was Chris Rodriguez and Nikki M. James.
That's who I was thinking of. Nikki. That's who I was thinking of.
Who was his like co-choreographer, like assistant director, something. She was on the creative team for Once on This Island. Eamon Foley
and Christmas Carol. She's working on A Christmas Carol with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's been posting on Instagram that she's been working with him.
That's great. And then Eamon Foley, I know, who Eamon Foley was in the company. He was in 13, the musical, which I always forget. And I'm always like, oh my God, that little boy. And then he's switched now mainly to doing like choreography. And I think he did the choreography for Michael Arden's Merrily Roll Along. I want to say he helped with choreo for Annie, but I can't be sure. But yeah, so he's enlisted these people, and he's like, how do we continue to make art, and how do we change it? And he's really, really gotten more into immersive art, and I love immersive theater. That is my jam. Yeah. So I could talk about Michael Arden for the rest of my life and never say enough words. He's my favorite.
Yeah. I just thought of another one though while you were talking.
I was talking for a long time.
This one, do what?
I said I was talking for a long time.
Oh. So I had the honor of seeing Company at Barrington Stage, and Company means a lot to me. Company is my all-time favorite musical. It means so much to me. And that production was so good. And it's like, I don't know how to describe why it was so good, but it was really, really, really good. The whole cast was amazing. Everything was just so good. And I loved Julianne Boyd was the director for that. I think she's like the household director for Barrington Stage, if I'm not mistaken.
She's like the artistic director?
Yeah, I believe that she's like, yeah. Look it up.
Keep talking.
But I loved how like simplistic Company is a simplistic show anyways, because it's such like a very
she's the artistic director.
Okay. But Company, in its story and in its like growth through, like in Bobby's growth throughout the whole show, Company is a very deep and like meaningful show, and so it's a very simplistically written and very simplistically produced most of the time.
Well, because wasn't it not written to be a musical? It was more written to be like a song cycle.
Yeah, so like a concert type of thing. So, which is how it usually is produced, like with Raul Esparza and Neil Patrick Harris. Those productions were more of like backed up by like philharmonics and like orchestras and things like that, and just kind of played out on a stage. But this production was more involved, like because it was it was actually produced as a musical, and it just like, there wasn't a second that I was in that theater that I wasn't feeling something. Like it was just so well done. And then like to piggyback off of that is Marianne Elliott, who directed the Gender Bent Company on the West End and the new revival on Broadway. And I am so excited. That's one of the first shows I'm going to see when Broadway reopens, because that was already on my list to see anyways this year. And so that's definitely going to be one of the first ones I see, because Bobby's like a dream role of mine and always has been. And so I was like, and so now it's been written to where I could play Bobby. And I think it's just like so good. Like what I've seen of like the West End production, what I've seen of the Broadway production, it's just so good. And like what I've heard of it, and it's just it makes me so happy. Like everything about it makes me melt. I'm just so excited about it. However, I do have one issue with it, is the fact that Bobby was originally going to be written as bisexual, and then they just took that up. That makes me very angry, because I've always thought that Bobby would be bisexual, but it just like isn't in the show. But I think it would have been so good to have like, oh, gender bent and she's bi. That would be so amazing, because I think it was Jen Colella actually auditioned for one of like the three like boys in.
Well, is it? I haven't.
Beth Malone. It was Beth Malone. That's who it was, I think.
It's one of those characters where why can't they? I mean, in future productions, somebody leaves, they just replace it, and
yeah. Like
that's what they did with that's what they did with Joe in Waitress.
Yeah, exactly. And like I think it would, like I just, every time I like listen to Company, I'm like, why can't this person be bisexual? Like I was like, there's so, like, who cares if they are anyways? And so it's just like, I think that it would just work really, really well, and it would normalize, like I think it would be done in a way that like it's not like, oh hey, she's bisexual. It would just be like, this is just how it is. Like this is just
you don't have to point it out. It's just
right. This is just one of her love interests, and I think that it would be the perfect show to do that. And I really
agree.
Want it. I think Katrina Link would be the perfect person to do that with, and I'm really sad that didn't happen. But
who knows? It might happen.
I'm in love with Katrina Link. I'm just gonna say that. Maybe it's just because I'm in love with her. I don't know.
Katrina Link is a phenomenal performer.
She's incredible. And like I watched her there's like a performance that she did where she sang Being Alive, and it brought me to tears. Like, that song never, okay, that song always brings me to tears no matter what.
Being Alive is a tear jerker. That's
my all-time favorite musical theater song. I think it's the best song ever written. But there's just, the way that she did it is just, anytime she sings just makes me cry. She's just like, she's so good. She's amazing. But that's not what we're discussing.
I mean,
I could talk about Katrina Link for like 6 hours.
Me talks about Michael Arden. You talks about Katrina Link. It happens. Look, it happens, and it's fine.
She's just so good.
So my second director that I have written down is Rachel Chavkin.
Yes.
Rachel Chavkin is another person who thinks about theater in a completely different way. Mm-hmm. What's interesting about both Mike Arden and Rachel Chavkin, and I'm sure other directors, and I'm just not thinking of them, but the two of them like to use the same people. It's almost like they're creating their own,
like, troupe.
Like, yes, exactly. Because Rachel Chavkin, likes to have things. I mean, okay. So Rachel Chavkin did Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812, and then she did Hadestown. I don't know why my brain would not let me think of it. I'm picturing everything in my head. I'm just like, what is that name? So she goes from Great Comet in 2017 on Broadway, and then in 2019 on Broadway she has Hadestown. Both are two shows that were absolutely highly praised by critics. Comet is on the weirder side, but that totally makes sense because it's Comet. And
it's steampunk. It's in and of itself is like weird. Like,
it's so weird because and again, it goes back to the whole immersive idea.
Yeah.
She likes to expand into certain areas. She likes to look at theater in a different way. Hers is more gritty, and she likes to make these people feel real. She likes to show a different part of the world and a different group of people on stage. Comet uses a lot of like eccentric, quote unquote eccentric looking people rather than your typical clean cut Broadway person. And she likes to use a lot of people of color in main character like performances.
And I feel like she's very much one of those people who is just like, she's very interested in human beings. Like, I feel like
absolutely
that's just the type of person that she is. And I love people like that because I'm like that. And like, I just love learning as much as I can about people because like, I love hearing stories and I love like just learning about people that I wouldn't normally like interact with, I guess, on like a daily basis.
And what I think is so great about what Rachel Chavkin does in regards to the casting process is she allows the audience to suspend their disbelief. You're like, yeah, it makes sense that like you don't even question why Danae Benton was cast as Natasha, or you don't question why Amber Gray was cast as Helene. You don't question why those two actors were cast as what has for all of time since the book was written been portrayed as white people, and they are not. Right. Same goes for like Dolokhov and all these things. Anyway, I am obsessed with it. And then even going into Hadestown, I think even Hadestown gives you more freedom to say, hey, we don't need to keep portraying these people as white because they're myths. So why can't they be?
And it's like they're not, and like they're Greek myths. So it's like that even adds to it because it's like, how often do you like see like in movies like Hercules and things like that, how often do you see people all looking the same?
They all look exactly the same. They all look like they're like not even Mediterranean, which is what Greece is. They look like they're like in Northeast Europe.
The only character that I think genuinely looks Mediterranean would be like Meg. And that's just because like the hair and her skin color, like her skin tone is more like olivey. And she has so much hair. And like my best friend who's Eastern European Greek descent, she's got so much hair. And it always just makes me laugh. And so I'm like, literally you're Meg. Like I love this because Hercules is like my favorite Disney movie.
Oh,
But
Hercules was absolutely my favorite Disney movie. I broke not only the
best.
VHS, I broke the VHS, the VCR, and like the TV
yes.
in the same, like watching it too many times.
Yes.
Well, the
I
TV
feel
was
that.
fine, but it was one of those like VH or VCR TV combos. So the
Oh yeah.
VCR was built into the TV, and
Yeah.
I put Hercules.
What a throwback.
I watched Hercules way too many times, and the VHS got stuck in there. And then so for the remainder of us having that TV, it was always trying to eject. Like it would just randomly, you would hear it just go like trying to eject, and there'd be nothing in there.
With I think our Cinderella one did that because I watched Cinderella's not even my favorite Disney movie. Like it's Hercules, but Cinderella's my favorite princess. So that happened a lot. And then I think probably Peter Pan did too. Yeah, we had a few that did that solely because of me, probably.
I'm like, I just wanted to watch Meg dance around with a rose and singing I Won't Say I'm in Love. Like, that's all I wanted.
The best Disney song. I
like
stand by that.
My mom, like, handed me a fake rose. I don't know what she was doing with them. And I'm like, okay, perfect. And I'm like 6 years old, and I'm like, okay, perfect. Now I need to watch Hercules. Like, that's what my mind connected to. I love Hercules. I think Rachel Chavkin would be a great director for Hercules.
I agree. I'm so upset that I never got to see Hercules in the park.
Oh, big same. Big same.
Upset. My friend got to see it, though. I'm really happy that she got to.
Okay.
She was so lucky.
But it was, the thing is, like, though, it was a public works production rather than just like your typical which I think is great, like absolutely, like no like ill will towards it, but public works can tend to be, from what I've heard, public works can tend to be a little like disjointed and not smooth. So I think if we had like an actual professional production, like typical production, I think it'd be beautiful. And I would love to see Rachel Chavkin direct that. So yeah, Rachel Chavkin, amazing. And then the third one I have on here, and I think that you'll agree with this, is Diane Paulus, Waitress, Pippin.
Yes. Okay. It took me a hot second to get there.
She's the artistic director of ART, American Repertory Theater.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so the things that have come out of ART, like Waitress and Pippin and Jagged Little Pill, I think they'll have like a similar, like almost whimsy to them.
Yeah.
They are all kind of like your classic Broadway, but there's a similar like thread through it that is almost whimsy. So that's why I like her. Also,
you just know how much I love Waitress. I love Waitress.
I love Pippin.
Valid.
Her production of Pippin blew me away. I saw it twice in 1 week.
Yeah.
And I saw it with my dad. And I don't think Andrea Martin. So again, going back, because I do live in Southern California, for whatever reason, and you know what? No, not for whatever reason, for business reasons, sometimes in a big show, a star will come on just for the LA tour stop. Or, so that's what happened with In the Heights. Lynn came in and played Usnavi. But for the LA tour stop of Pippin, they brought back in Andrea Martin. And she replaced Lucy Arnaz for just the LA production, I think. And then Matthew James Thomas was already playing the role of Pippin. So it was nice to see them. But when Andrea Martin, she essentially was like up on a trapeze, hanging upside down, singing. She got a full-on standing ovation in the middle of Act 1.
Oh my God.
And my dad was sitting
I love numbers, like things that like cause that to happen. They make me so happy.
She was like in her mid to late 60s singing upside down on a trapeze. My dad goes, I was terrified I was going to watch her die.
Mood. Speaking of mid to late 60s and doing like physically demanding roles, did you hear about Megan Mullally? She's going to be Reno
Sweeney
on the West End. Yeah.
I love that for her.
Yeah, I just love her. I think she's amazing. I just think she's one of the greatest people ever. Her and Nick Offerman both. I love them. Love them.
I'm so excited. Like that's really exciting. Like that's very interesting. And I'm excited to see clips of it.
Yes, because I can't.
There's no way I'm going to England.
No. I don't have enough money. I don't have any money.
Well, who knows? Maybe by the time Broadway reopen, or by the time things reopen, you will.
I doubt that.
Oh my God, I was talking to my cousin. She's 3, my baby cousin. And I was just singing on the steps of the palace to her while she was eating. Like,
is that what you were Snapchatting me?
I was purposely bothering her because she hates when I sing to her, which, like, fair enough. And she always goes, stop singing. And I'm like, fine. But so I was just singing on the steps of the palace, and she's like, stop singing. And I go, Ava, when Broadway reopens, you'll probably be old enough to go see a show by the time theater happens again. And I take you to a show, are you going to tell the performers to stop singing? You're just going to sit at your seat and yell, stop singing? And she goes, mm-hmm. And I go, well, that's not very nice.
It's so funny because like she tells you to stop singing and you can actually sing, and then like when I perform for like the kids I babysit and like my little cousins, they love it, and I'm like, I have no talent. I'm like, I don't know why you're getting so excited about this. I cannot sing, but they just think it's really funny to see how long I can hold my breath in a note because I have amazing breath control. And so they'll be like, do the Go the Distance like ending note, because at the end of Go the Distance in the reprise from Hercules, it's like this really, I don't even know how long it is. I can't even remember. It's like 16, 18 bars. I don't remember, but I can hold it out. I've been able to do that since I was a kid. That's like my one talent that I have. And it's holding out that. And then Journey to the Past, Anastasia, the Broadway cast recording.
Oh, that one's a big no.
I can hold that one too, and I'm very proud of that.
I have to remember that it's happening, that's like coming up, because usually I forget how long notes are, and I just when I'm singing along with it, and then I'm just like, Mom! And I sound like old Principal Konsky in Comet. Principal Konskys.
I can also do the last note in Almost There from Princess and the Frog. I love singing that song. That is one of the most fun songs to sing.
Absolutely.
Ever. So much fun.
That song is a perfect Disney song.
It is. It's so good. Princess and the Frog and Hercules have 2 of the best soundtracks ever.
And they're 2 that are vastly underrated.
Yes, I agree.
It's so annoying that people don't think of them.
I watch Princess and the Frog so much. I watch it all the time.
It's a good show. Or it's a good movie. It's like outside right now, it's weirdly, I don't even know if it's gloomy. The sky just looks gray, and I don't know if it's just like a weird cloud covering or what, but it's 81 right now. Oh, well, it says 81 partly cloudy, so that answers my question.
Currently, here in Kentucky, because that's where I am at the moment, it is 61. It's been really nice. It was really nice today and yesterday.
I was looking at like random directors because I was trying to figure out some of the shows I liked and seeing if other directors had multiple shows that I found absolutely interesting. And I was looking at George C. Wolfe. George C. Wolfe is from Kentucky.
Is he? Where is
He's from Frankfurt.
It's like 35 minutes from me.
And then he went to Pomona College, which is one of the Claremont colleges, which is somewhat near me.
That's so funny.
And then he went to like NYU after that. So
naturally.
also, I love that George C. Wolfe is just like randomly in The Devil Wears Prada, the movie.
That is one of the greatest movies of all time. And anyone who's ever met me for more than maybe 10 minutes is aware of this. I have a weird obsession with The Devil Wears Prada. And I think it's partly because it's like based on the like tell-all book about Anna Wintour, and I have a really weird thing for Anna Wintour. I just think that she's one of the most badass women on the entire planet.
Sorry, my phone started making sounds. So Anna Wintour.
I'm like obsessed with her, and like I have a bag from the camp collection at the Met that has her face on it, and it says camp like on her sunglasses. I use it like every day. It's like my school bag. But I love The Devil Wears Prada, and I was so upset that COVID interrupted the Devil Wears Prada musical like in Chicago.
Well, wasn't it supposed to? It already had said, "Wait, we're postponing a year."
Yeah.
Before COVID even happened. So does that mean it was supposed to happen this summer, or was it already supposed to happen next summer?
It was supposed to have been this summer, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
I could be wrong about that.
I love the casting of Beth Level as.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God. Do you know who I really wanted as what's her face? Anne Hathaway's character? Andy, thank you. I'm exhausted. I really wanted Samantha Massel as Andy.
Okay.
I just think she would have been amazing.
She was in Fiddler, wasn't she?
Yeah. She's awesome.
I don't know. Who did they cast as Andy? Did they cast Andy?
I don't even know if they got to that.
I just like the fact that Beth Level was going to be playing the Meryl Streep character, like how Meryl Streep is playing Beth Level's character in The Prom.
I love that. That was so funny to me. Okay, so it was supposed to have been July 14th through August 16th, 2020.
Okay. And we don't know when it's actually going to happen.
No. Let's see the cast. Taylor Iman Jones is in it.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's actually really okay. That's actually really good. I actually really like that. Yeah, actually, that's amazing. She was in Head Over Heels and Scotland, PA. I'm into it. Okay. Now I'm even more excited about it. Oh my God. And I know you mentioned this on your TikTok, but I'm going to discuss it for a second. Listen.
I'm like nervous. I'm like, what are you going to talk about?
So I commented on your TikTok about it because I was so upset with you. I wanted a Bombshell musical for years. I have wanted
We progressed
the
part. We progressed past the point of needing it. We don't need it anymore.
No, but here's the
5 years ago? 5 years ago? Yes. Now,
But here's my argument for it. Here's my reason. So I'm a huge fan of Marilyn Monroe. I have been obsessed with Marilyn Monroe for most of my life. I spent so much of my life learning as much legitimate details about her as I possibly can. Not just like the really bad Marilyn Monroe movies that are made, because none of them are genuinely accurate in my opinion.
My Week with Marilyn.
Oh, it makes me so mad, Kitty. It makes me want to explode.
Why?
It is not good. It's not good. I don't like that movie. I think it is. I don't like it. I don't like that they always cast Marilyn as skinny women who, like, skinny in our sense, like in societal sense now.
In 2020 skinny.
Yes, I don't like that because she was average. Marilyn Monroe was an average body woman. Like, she looked like anybody else, not model skinny, not actress skinny. She was curvy, she had boobs, she had hips, she had an ass, and I want more actresses that look like that playing her, because otherwise it's inaccurate. Otherwise, I don't see the point in doing it, which is why when you brought up how that never made sense to you in the show, how it was just like, oh, let's bring in Karen Cartwright, and like, why was it ever between the two? I agree with that. That makes me so mad. And it's not even just my disdain for Kat McPhee that I've had for years. I need to put that out there. I have never liked her. but it's like Megan Hilty is Marilyn Monroe. Like, I swear to you. And the fact that she played Marilyn's character in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, the musical, that's all I've ever wanted is Bombshell the musical with Megan Hilty as Marilyn. And I have always wanted Aaron Tveit to either play JFK or Joe DiMaggio. I've always wanted that too. I think he'd be better as JFK because he looks like a Kennedy. And then I've always wanted Will Chase as Joe DiMaggio. I want Bombshell so bad because I want a realistic Marilyn something. I want something that portrays her the way that she deserves to be shown. I want something that shows the horrendous acts that these men did to her. I want that for her. And I think it's so ridiculous that we're getting Smash the musical. For what reason?
Yeah, that's weird.
For what reason?
Just
make a third season of the show. Just make a third season of the show. Oh my God, it makes me so angry. But I also just want a third season of the show because, unpopular opinion, I am such a whore for Jack Davenport. I don't know why. I can't explain it. I think it dates back to like Pirates of the Caribbean because he was in the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and I had such a thing for those movies when I was a kid. And I think that's what it goes back to. But like,
you're like,
so embarrassing.
Who is the one I want? The mean British director who's just an asshole the entire time. That's who I want.
Villains, though. You know I have a thing for villains, though. I love a villain, and I love like a bad guy because I'm always like, there is just like so many interesting things that go into these people. But like, I don't know what it was, but when I was watching Smash, that was like one of my favorite people to watch. I was like so interested in him because I was like, this is just like so, I don't like, there's just something very real about it. Like that's like the one,
it was
a very realistic aspect of that show. And I think that was really interesting.
His like no bullshit, like no nonsense. Like
he was kind of, I feel like he was partly based on Fosse. I could be wrong about that, but I feel like he was partially based around Fosse.
Maybe.
Because he was director choreographer, which so was Bob Fosse. And he was a very aggressive man who took no bullshit, which Bob Fosse. Like, I just feel like so much of it was the same.
Yeah.
That's another director that I love, Bob Fosse.
Bob Fosse, yeah. You know what? Fair.
If you never watched Fosse,
Chicago, Pippin. Chicago, Pippin, Sweet Charity, Damn Yankees.
Damn Yankees is one of my favorite musicals. I love Damn Yankees. Love it.
Whatever Lola wants, Lola gets.
I want a Damn Yankees revival with Robin Herder as Lola. And I know that Robin Herder wants one too, so I think that it needs to happen.
In my head, in my head, whenever I hear that song, I think of Sofia Vergara because I'm pretty sure Sofia Vergara did like a commercial for, it must have been Pepsi because I'm imagining her in a blue dress. And that was the song that was playing in the background.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I need to find that.
And this, when I tell you this was years ago, I mean, like 10 years ago.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, that's probably why I don't remember what happened yesterday. So.
I always, for whatever reason, just remember when show tunes are used in commercials, like the Ethan Allen commercial that used Putting It Together.
Yeah. My favorite thing on the planet is like my sister, she texted me one day. My sister does not like musicals, and she's dating a guy who does not like musicals. And it's like, it's so funny because she texted me one day. This was like a year and a half ago. This was a while ago. And she texted me and she was like, Evan just walked in singing a song, and I think you probably would know what it is. And so she sent me the lyrics. It was I Feel Pretty from West Side Story. And which gets used all the time.
They are currently using it for like a Wendy's commercial. Didn't I text you that the other day?
Yes, you did.
Oh my God.
And like, it was so funny because she was like, he kept singing it. And I was like, Jilly knows this song. I know she does. And so like, she texted me about it. I was like, that's literally from West Side Story. I was like, why is he singing that? And she was like, I don't know. He saw it in like a commercial or something. And I was like, because they're always using it in commercials and other movies and like TV shows. They're always using I Feel Pretty.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Anyway, Bob Fosse, yes, directed Damn Yankees, whatever Lola wants, and every time I think of that song, I think of Sofia Vergara because I watched that commercial too many times as a kid.
Yes, my favorite thing is Robin Herder did a Instagram live. It was like a 8-minute Instagram live. It was super short, but it was like she was making Long Island iced teas, listening to Damn Yankees to celebrate Joe and Kamala winning. And it was so good. Oh, it was amazing. And I was like, girl, this is my entire brand. I was like,
you're like, none of this connects to each other.
But it's my brand.
But it works.
Yes. I've said it a million times, and I've told Robin this like at least 3 or 4 times in like Instagram DMs or whatever. I've told her, I'm like, I feel like if I was like a few years older, we would be in the same circle. It's like, I just feel like we would absolutely just hang out all the time because I feel like we are kindred spirits. Like I feel like we would definitely get along. And she was like, she told me that she's planning when Broadway reopens and it's safe to do this, she's going to do a giant barnini where everyone's invited, anyone can come. Like it's going to be like this huge thing. And I was like, I will be there. 1000% I will be there. Because that sounds like so much fun.
Okay, so I feel like now we should go through the answers that we got on social media when this question was posed to them. Who are their favorite theatrical directors? So on TikTok, Brady.Lou06 said, Casey Nicola. He has such a fun style of directing that brings so much life to the stage. And then 3 emoji heart faces, which I must agree with. Yeah. Casey Nicola has such a distinct style. He is very much, this is Broadway.
Yeah.
And I am here for it.
Obsessed.
So, because like you think Aladdin and Something Rotten and Book of Mormon and The Prom and Mean Girls, they all have that over the top, this is a Casey Nicola show.
Yes.
And I love it. Yes. It's very much, it's very dance heavy. There's a lot of group numbers.
I love a dance number.
So energetic.
And a group number. I love it.
So energetic. It is. Casey Nicola, amazing. We love it.
Yes.
Okay. Next one.
Emily, the theater kid on TikTok said Michael Mayer. Who is that?
Michael Mayer did. He did American Idiot.
Oh, okay.
And what else? Let's see. Michael Mayer.
I'm not as like in tune with directors as I am with like choreographers and things like that.
Okay, so Broadway. Direction of Spring Awakening, 2006. And then Thoroughly Modern Millie.
Oh, okay.
And
very different.
Two very different feels, absolutely. Yeah. And then he also did American Idiot and then Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Okay, so he's very diverse. He's a very, like, he's got range.
Yeah. I feel like Spring Awakening, Hedwig, and American Idiot feel kind of similar. Millie is a random offshoot. Oh, yeah. Millie is just like, here's a fun musical we're going to do.
With tap routines, which is, like, my favorite thing on the planet. I love tap.
Which, like, we love when people show their range. But I like when directors have have distinct feels.
Yes.
What else has he done? Oh, and he did Head Over Heels.
Okay, yes. Oh, I love Head Over Heels.
I feel like did I already say American Idiot? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he did the 2019 off-Broadway Little Shop.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
Which, again, feels very much in that same vein. American Idiot, Spring Awakening, Hedwig. Yeah, Little Shop. That all makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
That all makes sense.
Good for him.
And then Honey, I'm Gay said Hal Prince.
I love that.
Hal Prince, Hal Prince, yeah. Uncontested.
No, I have no words. I just I can't. The next one at _KJS_ underscore, I guess.
I
This
would
is
think
one of
so.
mine as well. Michael Grief. So
Is that how you
like
say it? I always thought it was Michael Greif.
It's Greif. I misread it. Hi, I'm exhausted once again. Rent, Dear Evan Hansen, and Next to Normal. I absolutely agree with this because Rent and Next to Normal are just, yeah. I have my own feelings about Dear Evan Hansen, but that's neither here nor there. I think it's, objectively speaking, good musical. So yeah.
Absolutely. And then Piper It Up says Michael Arden, which we've already discussed.
And
how much we love Michael Arden.
Yes, and Catherine the Great says Rachel Chavkin, which already discussed.
Okay, and then Erica_Parks says Casey Nicola and Christopher Ashley. We already talked about Casey Nicola. Christopher Ashley, yes. 100% yes. He directed Come From Away.
Okay.
He directed Memphis. He directed Diana. So Christopher Ashley is the artistic director for the La Jolla Playhouse, which I love La Jolla.
Yeah.
La Jolla is about 2 hours south of me, but I've seen a couple shows there. Christopher Ashley directs most, if not all, of the new stuff that comes out of La Jolla. Sometimes shows will go to La Jolla and they already have a director, but La Jolla is one of those regional theaters that I always keep my eye on because so much good stuff comes out of La Jolla.
Yeah.
Bonnie and Clyde came out of La Jolla. Come From Away out of La Jolla. I think Memphis came out of La Jolla. Memphis. And it is one of the Escape to Margaritaville came out of La Jolla.
Yep.
I always forget about Escape to Margaritaville.
I really do regret not seeing that show because I almost did, and I really regret not doing it because I feel like I would have had fun.
The tour of Escape to Margaritaville came through my work. It was the last. This is a weird way for me to phrase this. It was the last new show I saw before COVID.
Okay.
Because I saw it at the beginning of February, and then at the end of February, I saw Book of Mormon, but I've already seen Book of Mormon a couple times. So Escape to Margaritaville was the last first time I saw a show. Escape to Margaritaville is one of those shows where I have no idea who thought this was a good idea, and it wasn't a good idea.
Hey.
And nobody thought it was a good idea.
Hey, Jimmy
and then
Buffett
it got absolutely
is fun.
It got absolutely trashed in the reviews.
Wasn't Allison Luff in Escape to Margaritaville?
Mm-hmm. Yes, she was.
I love Allison Luff. She was one of my Jennas I saw, and I love her.
And the
so
guy
much.
from Bright Star. What's his name? Paul Alexander Nolan. Paul Alexander Nolan. Anyway, Escape to Margaritaville, very bad. Like the middle 20 minutes. The middle 20 minutes of Act 2 of Escape to Margaritaville, I literally was sitting there next to my friend and going, I need this to end. Like, this needs to end already. I wanted to pull my hair out. It was excruciatingly awful. The dancing was fun, though. Anyway, Christopher Ashley, I agree. He's a great actor. He's a great director.
Okay, Chance Like Fish 88 said Tina Fey.
Tina Fey isn't a director, but Mean Girls was directed by Casey Nicola. And then A. Garvin 365, the director of The Lion King on Broadway, Julie Taymor.
Julie Taymor is amazing.
Julie Taymor pretty much, she does a lot of opera direction, doesn't she? Yeah, and then
I love an opera.
And then she has The Lion King, and she has Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. And and then she also did
she's great.
She did the 2017 production of M. Butterfly, which I saw. And I thought that was great.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And then I love Hamilton a lot too much. A lot too much. A lot much.
Yeah.
Lin-Manuel Miranda, again, not a director.
Not a director.
Not a director.
But we love the energy.
We love the energy. Let's keep it up. And then on our Instagram, we have at Marcy _Darcy. She commented Michael Arden, duh, which, yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Pretty
We've
much.
talked about this. I, again, could talk about Michael Arden for forever and a day and still not have said enough words.
Yep. Who did, hold on, one moment. Didn't Robert De Niro direct A Bronx Tale?
I think he and Jerry Zaks co-directed it.
Let's see. Because I love A Bronx Tale. Why do I not have service all of a sudden? That's odd. One moment. Okay, yeah, it was...
Right? It's De Niro and Zaks.
The musical is co-directed by Robert De Niro and Jerry Zaks, yeah.
I don't know how I pulled that out of my head.
I don't know either, but I don't know, I love A Bronx Tale. That's just the tea. I love A Bronx Tale. It is just like the music, the cast, the story. I love it.
I don't know it.
I think you might like it. I think
it was the show. It was the show at my work that we were doing when we shut down.
Yeah.
We got 2 performances in and then
I haven't seen it in person. I've seen clips of it, but I listen to it all the time because I love the cast. And the cast recording is so good. And it's it's like Bobby Conn Thornton, Ariana DeBose, Nick Cordero, there's a couple of kids. There's a kid in it, so I don't know if you would like the beginning, but the kid's only in it for a little bit of the beginning of the musical. But other than that, I think you might enjoy it. I don't know.
Maybe. My dad likes the movie.
Yeah, I've seen the movie too. The movie's really good.
Yeah. So, we'll see.
I love anything Robert De Niro, though, I'm going to be honest.
So, yeah, I feel like we've talked about a lot of directors. What's coming up next week, Jill? What are we talking about next week?
Next week?
I feel like we came up with a plan. Oh. Next week we're going to talk about the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Yes.
Which is exciting. Which, as you're listening to this comes out Monday, you'll see the parade on Thursday, and then on Monday you'll have a recap of it. How exciting.
How exciting.
All right. Jill, where can people find us on the internet?
On Instagram and TikTok, we are at Thoughts Shared Podcast. On Twitter, we are Thoughts Shared _. It took me a second because our Twitter is not super. I'm not good at Twitter. Twitter stresses me out. And then my personal is at It's Jill Hayes on all platforms.
And then my personal is follow me on Instagram at Complete Katie and on TikTok at Katiefornia.
Yes.
So until next week.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Forgot what the word is. I forgot the word goodbye. I'm like, until next week, and then I stuttered, and then my brain buffered and said, all right, press end now. All right, bye.